Today's episode is sponsored by Carter House. Their vision is committed to helping parents of low-income families provide clothing for their children. Carter's House aims to reduce financial hardships by providing quality clothing to children in low-income families. To volunteer or request help, call Carter House at 469-616-0224. Thank you so much for joining us for our first anniversary celebration.
Woo! Oh, sorry.
It's September the 6th, and this is the I Talk Back Sports Show.
Sorry.
I'm joined by my co-host Jamal Bunner.
Woo!
My name is Kay, and thank you so much for tuning in. Jamal, do you have any shout-outs for today?
Yes, Kay. Good evening and happy anniversary. I have a shout out to, I believe the gentleman's name is Christopher Reed, better known as Kid from Kid and Play, from House Party fame and so forth. Mr. Reed is the gentleman who dressed up as a version of Colin Kaepernick and mocked Colin Kaepernick alongside of Jason Whitlock on Jason Whitlock's show, and the protest that Colin stands for, that is something that we will probably also be discussing later. So, to you, Mr. Reed, I shout out, great job. Just really a fine job of going along with whatever it is that Mr. Whitlock decided to cook up. And, yeah, worked out well for you, didn't it? Just asking this question, all right? Okay, what about you? Who do you have to shout out?
I want to give a shout out to the Las Vegas Police Department, who picked a very wrong football player to arrest or detain on fight night. So, Michael Bennett, shout out to you as well. They picked the poster child for an active player trying to bring attention to a situation. So, bravo, Las Vegas Police Department. Hats off to you.
Okay, can I just take a quick second to follow up your shout out with this? On this show, we are a very biased group of Cowboy fans, and honestly, we don't care anything about Michael Bennett or his brother, the former Cowboy Martellus, who's gone off to wherever. But we are struck by the aspect of the foolishness that was involved in this particular act by the Vegas Police Department, as well as the words that Michael Bennett spoke and were printed before this act took place, and that applause goes to him for highlighting that this took place, for keeping his composure, and for making sure that people truly understand what the Black Lives Movement is actually about. It's incidents like this that is what Black Lives Matter is about, and it's not about the other aspects of it that the media has blown it into. The police need to take matters differently. You ask the man for his ID, you find out who he is first. You don't immediately suspect that somebody who's black is up to or has been up to something and go to worst case scenario. That's not what this is all about. We can all get along fine. Let's start acting like we're humans, all of us. That's all I had to say, Kay.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that we're not a Michael Bennett fan. But I would like to give him applause for everything that he's done throughout this time, to bring attention to some issues. So he had an article, he done an article with the Undefeated, and one of his quotes was, "Every day a white player throws the ball to a black receiver. But when it comes to Black Lives Matters issues, they won't step up and be like, there's an issue." So that's kind of why Black Lives Matter is important, because we have to bring that to your attention, because if we don't, then y'all really wouldn't think we matter. So I'll just leave that there.
Good point.
All right, Jamal. So We're going to talk a little baseball because we haven't talked about baseball. As much as we always promise to speak about other things besides football, we sometimes come up short.
Are we going to talk about the? Are we going to talk about the Dodgers and how well they're doing out in the West and how they're blowing everybody away in the National League?
No,
Oh,
they've been doing that all season. So
okay. Are we going to wait? But are we going to talk about the Astros and that they have finally gotten it together and seem to be actually doing something in the American League? I mean, it took the move from the National League to the American League to get them to actually. We're not talking about them.
What it took is Nolan Ryan and some more former Rangers to come down there and kind of.
Ooh, okay, so we're not going to talk about them.
We're not going to talk about it either.
Oh, well, we going to talk about that.
Let's talk about the Red Sox being caught stealing signs. Let's talk about that. Is it a Boston? Is it a Massachusetts thing? Want to quit? I mean, they want to cheat to gain an advantage at all times. What is it about Massachusetts, Jamal?
I don't quite know what it is about Massachusetts. I haven't seen that the Celtics have done any cheating yet. I think that what they actually well, you know what? I take that back. They didn't exactly
in a trade.
Yeah, they didn't exactly divulge everything on that trade. So yeah, you got a point there. I don't watch hockey, so I don't know what the Bruins have been up to. But let's focus on the Red Sox. I dislike the Red Sox about as much as I dislike the Patriots. So this was just like heartwarming for me. The first place in the American League East, Red Sox were and caught red-handed too. Like there's been nothing from them. Like no, they were caught red-handed stealing signs.
Yeah.
I
don't get caught. That's all I can tell you.
You're right. You're right. Don't get caught. And now that you're caught, I don't know. And the funny thing is the thought that it may not have just been the Yankees that they were doing this with. That it's very likely they've been doing this with maybe even all season. And so how do you handle this in terms of just, how do you handle this? Like, I would like for them to forfeit the season, honestly. That's what I would like.
You would like that? Are you serious?
Yeah. That's where I'm at on this right now, is a forfeiture of the season.
You don't like them. So let's talk about someone you actually do like. Florida State. Their quarterback is injured. What is your team going to do, Jamal?
I don't know.
No. I thought you had some solutions.
I don't know. I know that we will eventually talk about Alabama and Florida State later in the show. So right now I don't have any solutions. But since we are on the state of Florida, what I would like to ask is, what is your opinion of the Bucks and Dolphins game being postponed to Week 11? Was that the right move by the NFL?
No, the NFL never does anything right, and certainly this is another situation where someone is going to have to play all these freaking games straight without a bye, because they're going to have to take their bye at the beginning of the season, and who wants to do that? So I don't think that's fair, but the no fair league. So,
well, it's amusing on the heels of, and we unfortunately did not do a show last week. My fault. That when we were about to, or at least I was about to applaud the NFL for canceling the final preseason game between Houston and Dallas, because honestly, that was the right thing to do. They turn around in the case of another hurricane, and both Florida teams who are affected, you shaft. The New Orleans Superdome is available. The Saints are going to be playing in Minnesota on Monday night. The Superdome is available for them to play in. It would just be, yes, it'd be at a neutral site. They'd figure out that, whatever, but you don't make a team play 16 straight after we've had, the bye week was put in on purpose. It was to rest players. And neither team, again, not really huge on, although I'm keeping an eye on those Bucks. But I think this is an unfair disadvantage to put these teams to say that you're going to have to play 16 weeks because of a natural disaster that happens to actually affect both squads. It's absolutely unfair. And the NFL just completely missed the boat on this.
Again, they've been missing a lot of boats. They're never going to get home, Jamal.
No. No.
So, since someone was indisposed last week, let's go ahead and do our NCAA football predictions.
Yay!
Jamal, who is the most overrated team in the NCAA?
Alabama.
Jamal, how can Alabama be overrated when they win every week? Oh, except that game that it really counts.
Because they don't win the game that it really counts. Look, I'm hateful, but I still did not see enough from this Bama squad to really say that they're going to be the top team the entire season. I felt that for the squad that Florida State put out there on the field, Bama should have run up the score like they did last year against USC when they made that statement. And instead, they only put up 24 and seemed to just coast. So I'm gonna put my head out there, just stick my neck out there, and I'm gonna put down. I'm saying Bama, with USC right behind them. USC is a close second. What about you, Kay?
I'm gonna say USC. They're in the Pac-12, and they just boost them up. And I watched a little bit of that game Saturday, and it took them a while to kind of figure things out. So I'm going to go with USC. I can't say Alabama because I think they probably will go undefeated throughout the season. In the playoffs, it probably will be the same story as last year. I don't think they'll go undefeated in the postseason. So,
can I very quickly? So, from what the polls have shown that have come out, USC was top 5. And after Saturday's performance, they were dropped to 15th, I believe, maybe lower. So what the pollsters are saying is, even though that they won, their performance was that much worse than the number 2 team getting thumped by the number 1 team and only dropping them to 10th. So Florida State fell, no, number 3, sorry. Florida State fell from 3 to 10. But USC's win was so bad that they dropped out of the top 10.
Jamal, they struggled a lot in that game. I mean, it took a lot for them to gain the lead, and it was late. So, USC might not make it in top 25 too much.
Hey, so now we're back to winning on style points. Okay. I'm not defending.
Go ahead.
I'm not defending USC by any stretch of the imagination, but I just find that it's a little odd to me. That's all.
All right. So,
comeback team of the year. Who you got?
Well, if you would have asked me this question last week, points. You threw you fired a whole coach. Send him down to Florida. You brought in somebody else to do the same thing that the last coach was doing because they got the same result. You have all these talented people.
Worst result.
I'm talking about the University of Texas to anybody out there that don't know.
Worst result.
We got all this talent. But they some unmotivated arse players. That's all I'm going to say about that. Jamal, can I get the comeback team of the year?
You just kicked me in the gut, Kay.
With the truth?
Woo! I'm going to the SEC, and I'm going to say Auburn was my pick for the comeback team of the year. That they just had a down year last year. They're going to pick it up, and they're going to challenge in the SEC West, but I don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, Auburn was my pick for the comeback team of the year. Yeah. Which leads to the biggest letdown. And we're talking about for the entire year, though. Okay.
Of course.
Okay. So I'm not sure for the entire year for what we saw that Texas and Baylor did from a Big 12 standpoint, and I'm thinking throughout the NCAA, that for 24 hours, the biggest letdown was what took place in Austin. And then we went out to California. And with being up by, what was it, 35 points?
Well, before I changed the channel, it was 35 points. When I turned back...
Let me say this, okay? Because I was kind of keeping track of it on Twitter. And Clarence Hill Jr. of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram sent out this text that said, relax, people, they're not going to come all the way back and win. And I'm assuming this was sometime in the fourth quarter. It was like, just relax, they're just whatever. And then I'm not near a television, but I see this, oh, wow. And that the Aggies lost a 35-point lead in 17 minutes, the final 17. That has to be the biggest letdown. I don't care what any team does the rest of this year. That right there is your biggest letdown of the year already.
Okay, so with that being said, what a coach needs to do in a situation that he has a huge lead in the fourth quarter, he needs to run the ball a lot. Don't snap the ball at 20 seconds left on the clock.
Nope.
Let's not do that.
Nope.
Okay?
Nope.
Those are two things that could be done to kind of use, what do they call it? Clock management.
Clock management. Something the Falcons didn't learn.
And something that we needed to learn last year in the in our playoff game. But
yes,
we're not talking about that now.
Yeah, that's past. Yeah.
But clock management is important when you have such a huge lead.
So who does clock management fall upon again?
The coach.
Dang.
And if you just so happen to be the quarterback, take your time. You don't have to stop the ball.
Get the clock down to 2 or 1 second and snap it. Boom. Wow. Yeah. But run the ball. So.
Oh, what is the best conference in the NCAA? Is it the SEC?
No.
Or the ACC?
It looks to me to be somewhere between the ACC and the Big Ten. That I am very impressed with what Ohio State is going to come with, Michigan, Penn State, and possibly even Wisconsin, who is going to sit off to the side and not have to play any real games this year. You may have 4 very strong teams making a case in the Big Ten versus Clemson. Florida State is going to get off the canvas, and they are going to be competitive in league play within the ACC. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
Down. My bad.
Louisville is going to come with it, and no,
Jamal. Louisville's next 2 games are University of North Carolina and Clemson. They're going to lose those 2 games.
We'll see. I feel like they can walk out of that 1-1. North Carolina made some noise last year. Let's see what they do this year.
A lot of people, but I still think that North Carolina is a good team, though.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for that squad that's down in. No, actually, I can't say anything about them. Actually, I want to talk about the squad that's in Blacksburg that won a interesting matchup against West Virginia over the weekend, and that would be Virginia Tech. That is an ACC squad to keep your eye on. So I'm torn between the 2 conferences. I have a preference towards the ACC, but the Big Ten is nothing to laugh at this year. What about you?
Well, Okay, I'm with you. But will the voters um, give up this mandatory number that they have in their head about how many SEC teams needs to be in the top 10? Will they let that go this
Nope.
year?
Nope.
Give these teams credit where the credit needs to be given.
Nope. I don't see it happening. You're absolutely right on that. I don't see that happening.
All right.
So, Kay.
My favorite question.
Who's the first coach that you predict to be fired this year?
I will not give you the obvious answer that you probably think that I would give by saying Sumlin from Texas A&M, because we were calling for his head last year. Okay? But to be honest and to be fair, Sumlin has brought this team a certain amount of success, okay? Winning seasons. They haven't had very many, before him in the last 10 years. So I don't really think they should get rid of him, because who are you going to replace him with? Who is the answer?
Chip Kelly. Oh, we can't have all this dead air. Say something.
A pregnant pause. I was having triplets.
You didn't expect, yeah.
Because Chip Kelly has had success in college. He's totally done I can't even use the correct without cussing. I mean, but he's really messed up some organizations with his GMism and his coachingism. I mean, how do you be both? Okay, so I just don't.
You asked for a name. I gave you a name.
And I did. I asked it. Okay. So you think? Okay. So which coach you think is going to be fired first? And I know you don't like firing people, but I do.
I'm going to keep an eye on what happens with Mississippi State this year. And because Mississippi State tasted some success, and they managed to slide under the NCAA probe, unlike Ole Miss, and that they are, however, they can feel it, they can taste it, and it's not been happening for them. So I'm going to be very interested to see what's happening in Starksville. So that's really of great interest to me. But yeah, like you said, I hate firing coaches, so we'll keep an eye on that. So that being said, who wins the Heisman this year, in your opinion?
Well, who should win the Heisman? I don't know yet.
Same.
I'm more of a team-oriented type of watcher instead of a player watcher.
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably be. What I would say is it'll probably be a quarterback. That's what I think. That's a safe bet, Jamal.
I'm going to ask that we park this question until October, and that we revisit this selection when we've had an opportunity to actually see some people play and see some tape on them. I think that the idea of the question is a good question, but right now it's way too soon. We need to see some performances. So that being said, which 4 teams do you have in the playoff?
I don't know. I can tell you who's not going to be in the playoff.
Okay,
but
thanks.
I definitely think that Alabama's going to go. Oklahoma's going to return back. I think that. They are, Jamal. I hate them, but I think they will.
Okay, what about your other two? Wait. What about your other 2 teams? I need 2 more, please.
I don't know. Michigan, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Stanford? That's my dark. That's my dark.
Okay. All right. So I am going to give you Florida State, having won the ACC.
Let me go ahead and type this in on this little.
Please type it in, yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to even write it. I'm going to type it.
I am also going to go with... I'm going to go with Penn State. And I'm going to forego any Big 12 teams. And I'm going to go ahead and reluctantly say Bama. And I'm going to say Michigan. So I'm going to have two Big Ten teams, ACC and SEC, represented in the Final Four.
Okay.
And who do you have as your national championship game winner?
Michigan. Michigan.
I'm going to go Penn State.
Penn State.
I think Penn State, yeah. I'm going to go Penn State. I just don't know that Michigan is going to pull it off. I'm rooting for Michigan. I love Jim Harbaugh. But I don't think that they're going to pull it off this year. I think they'll beat Ohio State, but So, yeah, Penn State is my choice.
Okay.
I don't feel well having said that. So, moving along.
Why are you laughing?
There's a Twitter account that I used to follow that was named Charlie Effin Strong, and it was the parody account of Charlie Strong when he was with the University of Texas. So they shut down the account after his firing, and then it was resurrected this past weekend as Charlie Effin Strong, was watching what took place in Austin. So I was just laughing because I'm looking at the new coaches that we will be keeping our eyes on throughout the upcoming season. Lane Kiffin at Florida International University, making a name for himself with some of the people that he signed and ticking off coaches as usual. Tom Herman at the University of Texas in Austin, who... we'll talk about that later. Charlie Strong at South Florida University, who started off with 3 special teams mistakes in the first half before blowing out San Jose State, right? I believe. Yeah, isn't that the team that the University of Texas is playing this Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, but yeah. And at Oregon, now he coaches someplace.
LSU, Jamal.
Oh, yeah. LSU. Sorry. Yeah. LSU. At Oregon, who managed to strong-arm a couple of high school coaches and facilities into preventing them from hosting the University of Texas satellite coaching, football, that at Oregon. Okay. All right. Yeah, all right. So, yeah.
Well, we'll take we're going to watch and see how they do in their first year at their new places. I think I'm pretty interested in seeing what Lane Kiffin is going to do because he's a shady dude.
He is. And I'm keeping an eye on Charlie Strong. I wish the best for him. And now, for some reason, I find myself actually rooting against LSU for the first time. I have been a closet LSU fan because they wear that purple and gold, and I love that. I like the tradition, but nah, Ed, you blew it for me. That wasn't cool, man. That wasn't cool. So, yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
So,
Jamal.
Yes. Do we have to?
I'm gonna just feed this on. I picked out some games this week.
Oh, this week. Yes, this week.
Yeah, that I'm pretty interested in. We know what happened last week. Clemson playing. Auburn is your dark horse. Who do you think is going to win this game?
I said dark horse in terms of the SEC. I didn't have them winning the SEC, and I don't have them beating Clemson. Not yet. No.
Not yet. Maybe if this game was maybe late October, early November, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But right now, nope. Oklahoma at Ohio State. Who you got?
See, let me just first say, since my team sucks so bad, you know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, I should have recorded the Oklahoma game and watched it. Because now I got to watch what they're doing in comparison to what we're not doing. And I don't like watching them but one time a year, okay? So I believe that Ohio State will kick some booty on Saturday. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think, Jamal?
I am impressed that the press has decided to try to play up their Wonder Boy new coach, and that they are calling him a coaching genius out of the box before he's really even coached a real game. So, yeah, I am going to, this one time, look at Ohio State and say, do what you do, and leave it at that. So, Ohio State. Big
USC Stanford.
Interesting matchup.
USC will not be number 6 anymore.
Interesting matchup this early in the season. And I know that Stanford has regained its running game even after the graduation of their All-American running back. My team plays USC next week. I'm curious. I'm gonna say USC is going to actually win this game, as it is to me I don't see Stanford really having enough firepower at this point of the season to pull this off against this USC squad, and that USC just got caught flat-footed, and they're going to pick it up next week. So that's my opinion. What about you?
I think that Stanford will win, and I think we should make a friendly bet, like something like whenever we are in the same city, the other person has to buy the chicken and the beer.
I don't know that you really want to take that bet up with me, because in New York, it's not the same price.
Oh, I was just going to buy a 6-pack and we was going to have a picnic if I was paying.
No, that's not how that works. That's not how any of that works.
Okay, Jamal. So, the NFL kicks off on tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh.
An excellent game.
Oh my gosh! Wait.
For the opening game, they really did something they normally don't do and gave us a good game on a Thursday night.
Did they?
Yes.
Did you really think that that's what they did?
They have to pick one of the people that won the Super Bowl, so
yes.
I think that this is pretty interesting.
I think this is going to be a slaughter. And I think that the Chiefs were the wrong team to start off the season with. I'd much preferred to have seen the Steelers face New England. There are any number of other teams I would have preferred to see. The Chiefs they're unsettled at the running back position, and they don't have the type of offense that's going to be able to keep up with the way these Chiefs score. And their defense was, last year, it was up and down. We're talking about the same squad that let Tampa Bay come in and, no, take that back. It was New Orleans who came into Arrowhead Stadium and put up points on them. A New Orleans squad that really didn't do that well last year, and they were supposed to have beaten the crap out of New Orleans that game. So, Kansas...
Okay, but what I think is that New England will win.
Yes, they will.
I think that it will be a very good game because, you know why? Kansas City normally gets off to a good start. for their seasons. And so that's what they'll do tomorrow. They'll give it all they have, and I think it's going to be a good matchup. I don't think that I'm going to be changing this game at halftime, Jamal. So don't say that for my favorite day of the year.
You're going to be looking for Scandal reruns tomorrow. Sorry. It's just...
No,
it's not going to be pretty.
I watch Big Brother.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. But,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through these games quickly. Jets and Bills.
Bills.
Who
You?
I'm taking anybody, whoever the Jets are playing, I'm taking the other team. Atlanta, Chicago, I'm taking Atlanta.
I'm taking Atlanta too. They shake off that whatever happened to them earlier in the year. Baltimore, Cincinnati.
Baltimore.
Yeah, same here, Baltimore. Pittsburgh at Cleveland.
Pittsburgh.
Same here. So far, we're running pretty much chalk. Here we go. Here's an interesting matchup. The Arizona Cardinals at the Detroit Lions.
Well, since my fellow Texan just got paid, okay, I'm going to go with Detroit. That boy better earn that money tomorrow, come Sunday. That's all I'm saying.
See, I don't count him as a Texan since he went to the University of Georgia, so I'm going to go ahead and go with the Cardinals.
He grew up down the street.
He went to Georgia. He went to Georgia. He didn't stay in Texas. I ain't got nothing to say to him. Cardinals, for me.
All right.
Now, for an interesting matchup, for the two hurricane-affected in another form, Jacksonville at Houston.
I'm taking Houston.
Yeah, I'm going to take the drama out of this. I'm taking Houston, too. The next game is actually canceled. The NFL, in its infinite wisdom, decided to move it to Week 11, so we will skip that. And we will go with Oakland at Tennessee.
Wow. I'm going to go with Oakland.
Because I enjoy being devil's advocate with you, I'm going to go ahead and go with Tennessee. I don't feel great about this pick at all, but yeah, just because I can't go chalk just down the board. I can't. So I'm going to go with Tennessee on this one. And you know what? And then a game that we really don't even care about, but I mean,
we don't care about it, and they have so many tickets available for this damn game.
We still have to. We
don't care about it, and neither one of them are affected by a hurricane.
We still need to. We have to make a pick. We need to make a pick. We have to make a pick. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Redskins.
Washington.
Okay. I'm going with Philadelphia. No, I'm legitimately going with Philadelphia. I don't think that Washington has it this year.
This next game, I mean, is even worse. We have the Colts versus the Rams.
Oh, gosh. I'm going with the Colts.
And I'll just go with the Rams just because. Okay.
Ooh. Sexiest matchup of the afternoon games. I don't know. I hate both teams.
Brandon is giving you the side eye because you don't like his team.
Yeah, Lil Beezy needs to understand his team plays at 7:30 Central Time in AT&T Stadium and is going to be wearing white. Okay, that's his team, silver and blue. Back to this game. I don't think that Green Bay has the defense to stop Seattle. But Seattle doesn't play well on the road. Green Bay doesn't have a running game. Eddie Lacy's going to face his old team. Seattle. And I don't feel good about it. What about you?
I'm taking Seattle.
Ah!
They've been through so much. They've been angry. They've been upset. They just been all over the place. They still mad about that Super Bowl from 2 years ago. I love Seattle.
I love Richard Sherman. Yeah.
I love them. I really do. I mean, no jokes aside. I mean, I wish my team had that much, you know. But anyway.
You know, we have an episode where we talk about that, and yeah, there's going to be shots fired. We're going to talk about that.
Actually. Okay.
We are?
So, yeah, last game of the afternoon games, Carolina, San Francisco. I'm picking Carolina.
I'm taking Carolina.
To get back into their old way of doing things. If the quarterback was hurt last year, then I expect for him to come back this year and do the things that he's supposed to do and not take all these damn hits and wait on these damn refs to not give him a call. Okay,
exactly.
Get back to where you were. I hope this offensive line protects him a little bit. Okay?
Agreed.
Now, I don't know who he's throwing the ball to. Do they got some receivers down there?
They do.
Oh, my God.
They do.
Okay. I just got a little excited about Carolina. I mean, y'all stop playing. For real.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm taking Carolina as well. So, how did the NFL schedule this? So, I know that everyone's tired of seeing Dallas and the Giants on Monday night. But how are you going to have Monday Night Football on September 11th and no teams in New York are playing? 9/11. How do you not have any New York teams playing? So, question aside, the Giants come for the yearly nail biter in AT&T. Forget that, Texas Stadium, and play the Cowboys. Who you got?
I'm a Cowboy fan, Jamal.
Same here. All right.
But with that being said, if my quarterback learns how to beat the New York Giants, if he gets that skill set, it's nothing that can stop him. He ain't there yet. The Cowboys, the margin of victory, I believe from the last 3 games that the Cowboys and the Giants have played have been what, 4 points?
Something like that, yeah.
So this is going to be close.
Okay.
But my quarterback has to learn how to beat the Giants.
Okay.
Giants. And that's all I'm going to say about that. You go ahead.
You are still taking the Cowboys, right?
I'm going for the Cowboys.
Okay, good. That's all.
Think about it. If you ask me who I'm going for the Cowboys. If you ask me who's going to win, I'm not ready.
The Giants don't have a run game. They have a bunch of wide receivers that are very skilled, but they still have Eli Manning throwing them the ball. They are not the terrorist on defense that everyone is making them out to be. We're going to have a great run game regardless. Well, we know Zeke is actually playing, but this is going to be a ground and pound game from our side. From our standpoint, we're going to protect our defense, and they're going to become a one-dimensional throwing the ball team. We can double cover both receivers, and Eli won't have anyone to throw to, so yeah, he's going to try to run the ball, and there's no one to run the ball. Cowboys win. That's my opinion.
Okay, so Jamal, you say ground and pound. So did you read the comment that their coach made about our running game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I thought it was about our cornerbacks.
Jamal, do you know that no, he said that they don't have to worry about the running game because they ain't going to have nowhere to run. So I just want to take you back to a time where my team had some damn shit talkers, okay?
I like it.
And they wouldn't have just let this go, okay? Nate Newton wouldn't have let this go had it been his team. Let them talk about us like that. So we don't have any of those type of players on our team. So the only prerequisite I have in next year's draft is that we get a designated shit talker in the 7th round.
Nope. No. Nope. Nope. I like my team not making bulletin board noise and bulletin board comments. I don't. No. We can do without that.
The shit talking.
Nope. Nope. I want my team quiet, and I want them to perform on the field.
That'll never happen. They're never quiet, Jamal.
Look, we have Sean Lee, Dak Prescott, Jason Witten as captains, right? That we know of.
The rest of the team.
Who is going to...
You're right,
These
Jamal.
people are going to... They're going to fall in line.
We're going to these next 2 games that come on Monday night. And Monday night schedule still sucks, okay? I'm not interested in any one of these games. New Orleans, Minnesota. I'm going to go with Minnesota. Jamal, who are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with New Orleans, and I'm going to enjoy this game for the return of Adrian Peterson back to Minnesota, where he played his entire career up to this point, and watching the Saints go in and destroy this Minnesota squad. I'm looking forward to that.
Are you watch the entire game, Jamal?
No.
Okay, so we have the Los Angeles Chargers.
Who?
The
Clippers.
The Los Angeles Chargers and the Denver Broncos. I'm going to take the Broncos.
Going to take the Broncos.
Because the Chargers suck.
Yeah. You know, I was in a fantasy football draft last night, and, of course, you know, the team designations are DEM, MIN. LAC is the designation for the Chargers. And I did ask the nerdy question of, hey, when did the Clippers start playing in the NFL? Because that's the Clippers designation.
Is that the draft?
I can't. I didn't draft any Chargers, by the way. But, yeah, Denver's ultimately going to win this game, even though they did somehow or another end up with Brock Osweiler back on their roster, which I still... He lost the season for Houston last year. You have the opportunity to... Forget it. I'm not even going to start this whole thing. So anyway, let's move on to predictions. Let's go. So, who do you have for MVP of this coming NFL season?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I just hope that it's not Rodgers, Brady, or Ryan. I'll take the field against that.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite, and I'm going to take your other picks.
Okay, cool. Okay,
So,
Rookie of the Year. I have no idea.
I have no idea either. Yeah, I'm out on Rookie of the Year. I'm going to need to go through and take a look at what's going on. Defensive Player of the Year.
I'm going to say J.J. Watt. I think that he comes back from last year's injury, and he's going to make it great for his city and his team. Probably not. I don't know. I just thought that would be a good storyline. Jamal? Who's going to win the Super Bowl, Jamal? Who's going to the Super Bowl?
Oakland. And Seattle. Oakland and Seattle. I don't like our corners. I don't like our defensive backfield.
I wouldn't expect you to say the Cowboys because that's not going to happen.
We have the offense to do it. We don't have the defense.
Okay. I got it. I'm not arguing with you.
Why aren't you arguing with me?
I'm going to say Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the last year I'm going to do this. Because I've been doing this these last 2 years and y'all been letting me down. Even though I don't necessarily want y'all to have more Super Bowls than...
Oh, no, you are. No. Don't.
For the second consecutive year, I'm going to say that the Pittsburgh Steelers...
No! God. Oh, my gosh. For real?
This is the last year, though, I'm going to do this.
I can't believe
Maybe
it.
it's a jinx. Maybe it's a prediction should have gone wrong.
I can't believe you. They don't have the defense, but okay. All right. So, that just was a gut punch. Okay. So, Kay, what do you have to say?
Well, what I have to say is I truly enjoy sports. I enjoy People spending all of their childhood years, college years, and sometimes their adult years in sports. The time, the dedication, the harm they do to their bodies, time away from their families, all of that should be taken into consideration when a player is out there on the field. So I also want, with that being said, this past week I lost a friend, a football player who passed doing something that he liked to do. And so I would like to say RIP to Marion Oliveris. And he was only 15 years old, but he was still a delightful child to be around. And he was just a very, very fun person. So we should be sometimes less critical of people and saying they suck, even though I say it a lot. But we should also know that these people are out there making sacrifices for the things that they like to do and the things that we like to watch. So that's what I'll say. What do you have?
First, I'm very sorry for your loss, and he sounded like he was a very nice young man. I would like to speak towards the victims of Hurricane Harvey and the request that they continue to stay strong and that we support you, and that we are very saddened that what happened and the events that took place, and that we are also, strangely enough, this was what we were going to talk about last week was Harvey, and here we are a week later, and Irma is bearing down on another part of the country with another hurricane behind it. That it is a tough position to be in the coastal parts of the U.S. when it comes to this time of season, or this time of year, and we hope that the spirit of people like J.J. Watt, who has raised reportedly $27 million for the victims of Hurricane Harvey, that same kind of kindness and same kind of outpouring will come for the absolute obvious victims of what's going to happen with Irma. And I hope that it's not just the people in the United States who receive this outpouring, but also those in the Caribbean who will be greatly affected by this. Their infrastructure is going to be devastated by this storm. So I speak for myself and for Kay in saying that we wish the best for you, we are praying for you, and that we hope that the continued, specifically sports community, is able to continue its outpouring of giving and volunteerism in this time of need for these people. Also, they are people, and the media will apply whatever they apply in terms of title and various names, but they are families, they are individuals, but they are people, and we need to treat them as such. So that's what I had to say.
Jamal, I definitely agree, and I share your sentiments as well. This has been our anniversary show, first anniversary. Thank you guys for listening. We're going to soon get some new equipment, some more staffing, green room, and...
A green room? All right.
A green room for me.
Oh, wait.
Or not, but thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to all our contributors who contributed seriously over these times. And thank you guys for listening.
We miss you, Herman.
We miss you. All right. Good night.
Good night.